Well, you're probably wondering how I got here. So let's rewind all the way back. Hi, I'm Emily, and I was born and raised in Carmel, Indiana, back when Carmel looked a lot like, well, this. And in 2002, my family moved to Scottsdale, Arizona, where I got to become a part of the life of Pinnacle Presbyterian Church. Pinnacle gave me a lot of opportunities as a youth to participate not only in music, but ordaining me as a deacon at age 15 and allowing me to preach my first sermon there at age 16. Pinnacle really was home. In 2008, I went to the University of Arizona and graduated with a bachelor's in psychology in 2012. Later that year, I decided to follow my calling and go to Austin Presbyterian Theological Seminary in Austin, Texas, and I graduated in 2015 with a master's in divinity. I was ordained later that year in October on the 11th back at my home church. From there, I went on to become a Lilly Resident Fellow Minister in Ann Arbor, Michigan, working with the Reverend Jay Sanderford. You may recognize Jay. He was actually one of your associate pastors in the past. Working with Jay was a total blast, and after 2 years of learning so much about the art of ministry, my time was up, and I found myself being called to First Presbyterian Church in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Beach culture is definitely unique, and I enjoyed every minute of it. The people there were absolutely wonderful, and I got to immerse myself also in Navy culture and do my favorite things such as hiking and kayaking. Oh, it'd be nice to get back to that. Now, while I worked at First Presbyterian Church of Virginia Beach, we also had a sister church down in San Nicolas, Cuba, La Iglesia Presbiteriana de San Nicolas, Cuba. And Pastor Maricela and I became fast friends. The people of San Nicolas really do have my heart, and though I have since left that parish, I still keep in correspondence with them and help however I can. Then, God gave me a new adventure. Yep, it was back to Texas. The Lone Star State, the land of the cowboys. Yep, First Presbyterian Church of Bryan has been pretty great. I've had so much fun working as an associate and getting to dabble in all areas of ministry. And not to mention, the community definitely has its perks. Then came 2020, only 5 months after I had started working here. That definitely changed the face of ministry, and it changed how I got to know the faces in my congregation. As Pastor Ted and I quickly found out, we definitely preferred pre-recording our services.
1,500, more than 1,000 years ago. And as we pour these ashes,
As time went on, I eventually found a place in TikTok ministry, and I got to meet some really amazing PCUSA pastors from around the nation. And I also got to know a lot of youth and young adults through that ministry. As the pandemic lifted, I found that my congregation had a real heart for mission, and we enjoyed doing a lot of local projects together. Getting to worship together for the first time, oh my goodness. There were so many faces of people who knew me from worshiping online, but to me, it was a whole new world, and I've really found a family here. I've also met and made friends across Brazos Valley with other ministers and with some really cool members of the community in general. Bryan, Texas has definitely been a wonderful home. And while I've been here, I've even become an Astros fan. Oh, before I forget, let me introduce you to my family. Everyone, meet Sammy. Sammy just turned 1 back on January 21st, and he's an English setter, and his favorite things include running zoomies in the yard and chewing on bones. And meet Salem. Salem is a 2-year-old black cat, and his favorite things include popping bubbles and playing with Sammy. The two of them are really excited about the possibility of moving to Florida. But that's enough of hearing from me. Let me turn things over to my supervisor, the Reverend Ted Foote.
hello, I'm Ted Foote from the First Presbyterian Church in Bryan, Texas. I became pastor here in 2007 And in 2019, we welcomed our associate pastor, Emily Bagan, to ministry with us. Let me introduce Emily to you as she begins a new chapter with you. I presume that by action of the congregation. Let me tell you to start with what not to ask Emily to do and what you will need to have on hand. I brought with me this roll of paper towels because if there are any cockroaches lying around on the floor, then you will need to bring your own paper towel to pick up the dead bugs. But on a more positive note, my history professor at Baylor University, very early 1970s, told me about John Knox when he found out that I was a Presbyterian. He said that John Knox would rush hell with a bucket of water. So I keep a bucket of water close around, not simply to remind me of baptism, but to remind me that sometimes we are called in the church to rush hell with a bucket of water. More specifically, and day by day, we learned about Emily when COVID came to visit in March of 2020, just 5 months after she started working with us. We learned of Emily's capabilities to help us move through COVID. And in addition to her technical capabilities with media, she has the capability to help you in sewing together the relationships of people and ministry in the congregation and in your community. May God bless you and her in your ministries together.
Hey Palms Presbyterian, it's Pastor Emily, and I want to take a moment to thank you for watching this video and getting to know me before your vote today. So this video asked a question in the very beginning. You saw me open a letter from APNC at Palms, and it said, "Call us." Well, I was one of 350 associate pastors on the eastern half of the United States who received a letter from your APNC asking if I knew of anyone who might be interested. I sat there and I thought, and I didn't think that I could be one of those. Lucky for all of us, the Reverend Jay Sanderford, one of your previous associates and one of my previous supervisors, happened to think of me. And he called Tim Jenkins, who called me, and boom, here we are. I've learned some incredible things about Palms, things that light the fire within my heart. You all have a true passion for mission. You have volunteers who are hitting the streets every single week with partners like Beam to make a true difference in your community. You also have a very strong deacon team who is willing and able to go out and love thy neighbor in new and creative ways. And you have an incredible head of staff. The Reverend Bryan Anderson has impressed me at every single turn in this process, and I know that there's so much that I can learn from working with him. Friends, whichever way that you vote today, I do hope in my heart and I pray that the way forward is led by the Holy Spirit. And if that should bring us together, I know that we can do some really great things. But David, before we let these guys vote, you know they say that you're supposed to dress for the job you want, not the job you have, right? Well, I can't let them vote if I'm wearing this. I've got to change. Hold on. 1 second. Come on, I swear this works, I swear. Hey, that is so much better. All right, David, I think these guys are ready for you to take things back over. Thank you all so much for your time, and I hope to see you in a few weeks. Much love.